Welcome to Grade 10 Life Science. Hope you've had a wonderful day. And I think that we need to get cracking into this, and let's see what we have for today. Today we're going to have a look at the structure and function of cells, right? Of cells. And we all know that when you did grade 9 stuff, that cells are the building blocks of matter. Well, not of matter, of biology. Okay, so it makes up everything. Okay, so let's have a look at the first thing that we're going to have a look at. Whenever we do life science, okay, we have a look at terminology. Now, please remember that terminology is one of the most important things. If you know terminology, then it becomes easy. You understand the subject. And remember, understanding life science is the be-all and end-all. If you understand it, you'll be able to get the good marks that you need. Right, so let's have a look at the first thing. Okay, hereditary is a very big word. Okay, these are nice big words, and I want you to have a good look at it, right? Next one, hydrophilic, and then you get hydrophobic. Think carefully with the next two, osmosis and diffusion. Okay, with those 5, I'm going to give you, let's say, about a minute. I think a minute's good enough. I think a minute. You try and find what those words mean. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Ready? Go. My word, I can see the smoke coming out of those ears, right? Well, it just tells me one thing, that you guys are working hard. Let's have a look. Okay, there we go. First one we had a look at was hereditary. Now, remember, hereditary means that we got it from people older than us. So the hereditary characteristics gets passed down, right, from generation to generation. So if I have a look at its characteristics passed on, very nice, passed on to the next generation. So if I have a look at it, your parents gave their characteristics to you, and you will give your characteristics to your children one day. Okay, so it's nice and easy. Okay, and I love that word, nice and easy. I'm sure you'll get used to it. Next one, hydrophilic. Okay, and hydrophilic is quite cool. Philic means love. Okay, they come together. So hydro, water. So hydro, there it is. If I can write right, hydro means water. Okay, and philic means love. So what do you think the next one is? Okay, we had hydrophilic, and now we got hydrophobic. Phobic is a fear. Okay, so let's see. Hydro, if I can get this bar. You see, I can never write with these pens. Hydro means water, which you're getting quite easily now, and phobic means fear. So the one is your hydrophilic, and the other is your hydrophobic. Now, I'm going to put it into a sentence for you so you can understand. We're going to later on look at the cell walls, and it's made up of hydrophobic and hydrophilic parts. The hydrophobic heads, or the hydrophilic heads, and the hydrophobic tails, or hydrophobic tails, or hydrophilic tails. It just depends on what is happening or what's going on. Right. Okay. Your next one, this is where it comes to the thing. People always get confused with this. Okay, there's just 2 words, and forget about the definitions. Let's just have a look at them. First one's osmosis, and the next one is diffusion. I want you just to have a look at that. Okay, you've had a good look at those 2 so far. Now, osmosis, please understand, it's identical to diffusion. The problem is, it's not, but it's to try so you can understand it. They're identical. The one is only water, nothing else, only water. And the other one is everything else. Okay, so look at it. Osmosis, water. It can only be water. So you must understand it is, if we have a look at it, it's water moving from a high water potential to a low water potential. So let's see if it is. It's the movement of water molecules. Okay, remember, osmosis, very important. Osmosis is water molecules. And you must say moving from a high water potential. That is key. Okay, they're looking for that. You can't say high concentration. It's a high water potential to a region of low water potential, okay, while passing through a semi-permeable membrane. Now, semi-permeable membrane. Why not a permeable membrane? Because permeable means it cannot get through, okay? And semi or a selective permeable, which means that it selects what goes through. Okay, and the next one, if you have a look at it, diffusion, it's movement of dissolved salts or molecules, there it is, from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. Can you see the difference? Okay, they both sound the same, they're both doing the same thing. The only difference is one is water and the other one is everything else. Right, so it's a nice way to look at it, okay? Diffusion and osmosis, they're very important. They ask them all the time, and you need to use them in whatever we do. Right, now, let's have a look at the next thing. Let's see what else I've got for you so far. Key concepts, okay? We are going to start off with the cell. We spoke about it earlier. We were going to use cells, and here we go. Cells are the basic units of functions of all living things. In other words, anything that's living has got a cell. Okay, whether it's a plant, whether it's an animal, and let's make it worse. What happens if it's a human? What happens if it is an insect? All of those things are animals, and if it's a plant, it's still got cells. It's the basic unit of them, right? And the next things, cells in animals and plants have unique features, which means they have special features for each and every one of them that make them different. They've also got things that it's the same. It's identical to each other, right? So it allows to take part in the processes that are necessary for cells and or living things to survive. So in other words, they do things to make animals or their parts to survive. So for example, sometimes you get a thing called, let's see, your cuboidal cells, right? And or goblet cells, should I say. And those cells are specialized to create mucus. Now, this is just putting it out there so I can explain it to you. That mucus is very important to us, right? So they've got special functions, these cells. There's special things in it. Here's a nice one. Muscle cells have special things in them called mitochondria, which you know about, helps with making of energy, right? So that's simple things. Very, very easy. Now, what I want to do is I want to have a look at cells. Now, you know the basic cells. I don't want to go too far. If I have a look at that, I know you've already seen the heading, right? But have a good look at that, right? As you can see, it is a cross-section. So I'm going to use the pen. It's a cross-section of an animal cell. And we know that's an animal cell because we found out, you remember, that it has got a cell membrane, which is over there, okay? And it's no cell wall, okay? Next thing, if you have a look, let's see the small things that look the difference. Vacuole, this one has got a vacuole, very small one, okay? It has got ER, rough and smooth ER, endoplasmic reticulum, don't forget that word, okay? And what else? Mitochondria, which will help it, and it's got your ribosomes, okay? Those are your main things in the cell, okay? Yes, we're looking at your nucleus. Sorry, I did forget your nucleus. Your nucleus is the brain. Can you imagine walking around here with no brain? I can't see that happening. So yes, you need your nucleus, okay? And you need to know how it's divided up. You get your nucleolus and you get your nuclear membrane, okay? Now, there's sometimes where they make the word a little bit bigger, which I'm going to see in the next thing. You are used to seeing cells like this, okay? Now, the problem is they don't always give it to you like this. This is a 2D. In other words, you can see perfectly what's going on there. It's nice and easy. But if I bring this down, I want you to have a good look at that. Have a look at the cell. See if you can see all the different parts for me. Have a good look at that for 2 seconds. Okay, maybe it was a little bit more than 2 seconds, but okay, now let's have a look at this. Okay, we have the nucleus. There it is. Can you see it? There's a nucleus, and it's made up of your chromatin. Okay, now your chromatin is your chromatin network. It gives you the DNA and all of that, right? Then you've got your nuclear envelope. Well, let me go underneath it. The nuclear envelope. And in this picture, I'm going to pull it up. It was your nuclear membrane. Okay, so nuclear envelope is your nuclear membrane. Then you've got your, I'm trying to get all words over here, rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and you have your smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It's got to be here somewhere. I'm sure there's one. Oh, yeah, there we go. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and ribosomes, which you're going to find on your rough endoplasmic reticulum or your rough ER. Okay, you've got your mitochondria, and they've made it into a 3D structure as well. Maybe you didn't see that so nicely. Let's see if I can use green. Maybe that'll work nicely. I suppose you guys can see it. Let's see if we can get further than that. And then you've got all the other little different things that you need. Okay, here's a nice one that the other one didn't have. Okay, it's your flagellum. Okay, there it is. I know I'm going over it with black, but your flagellum helps the cell move. It's like a little tail to make it move from one end to the other. Hey? How cool is that? It's something that you didn't see. Okay, now that is just the animal cell, and you know these. I want to go through one more cell. I know that you guys are getting tired, but you get your plant cell. So I want to go through one more before we take a break. Okay, let's have a look. Once again, your normal cross section that we normally use. Okay, and same thing. Important things that I look for: cell wall. Okay, if you can see it there, cell membrane, because remember your plant cell has both cell wall and cell membrane. Okay, it's got this big thing over here, your vacuole. Okay, very important. It's got its nucleus and what the nucleus is made up of. Okay, remember the brains of the cell. It's got the chloroplast. Now that thing there is very, very important. Remember, the chloroplast, without that, you and me, we're not going to survive. Okay, that there is the be all and end all. Okay, that there makes energy from the sun through photosynthesis. And if we don't get any energy from the sun within photosynthesis, in other words, the food that it makes for us, okay, we're going to die. So it's very important to have chloroplast. Excuse me. And then, of course, you get your rough and your smooth ER, same as the other ones, okay, and your ribosomes. Now, those are just the quick. You need to know all of those. I was just recapping so that you understand which is which, okay? And then, of course, we have the 3D structure. Have a look at that. Your tonoplast, okay, it's a new word that you've heard, okay? That is the membrane around the vacuole, okay? Next one, you get your central vacuole. It just means that it's this part here, okay? You have your nucleus, which is made up of your nuclear envelope, which is your nuclear membrane. You've got your chromatin, which is your DNA, your chromatin network. And then you have your nucleolus, which is the inside, the little dark blue part. Okay, rough ER, smooth ER, okay. Cell wall, very important because it is a plant cell. Mitochondria, remember mitochondria gives us energy. Then you've got your chloroplast. Without that, myself and you won't survive. And when we get to important things, like, wait, let's first go your ribosomes, which makes protein, and then you get to your part, when you get older and you get to higher levels, like grade 12 or grade 11, you're going to have a look at plasmodesmata. It's a big word, okay? And it's how things pass from one animal cell to the other. But you will get there one day. Right, now, I've showed you these two cells, and we've had a look at the definitions of some words, right? What you need is a break, because I do, and I can see the smoke coming out of your ears. Don't forget about this. When we come back, we're going to go into a little bit more details on certain things, and we'll take it from there when you get back. Have a good time. Welcome back. I've had my break, you've had your break, and I'm sure we're ready to go again. Right, we ended off on the plant cell, which is on my screen at the moment, okay? Now we're going to have a look at what these specific things do. It's been a long day already for me, okay? So we're going to have a look at this. Let's have a look at the first one. Your nucleus. Now, your nucleus, very, very important. What does it do? Now, I'm freezing for a second. I'm actually going to count in my head to 10 after I've said what you must do, and then we're going to come back. It's quick. I just want to give you 10 seconds to think about what that thing is. Okay, so what is the function of the nucleus? Okay, my 10, I don't know if it was as quick as yours, but mine was quite quick. If I have a look at it, the function of the nucleus, remember I told you it's the brains, okay? It is the brain of the cell. It tells the cell what to do, how to do it, when to do it, okay? And it carries the most important thing. It carries the genetic information, okay? Your genes, your characteristics, who you are is found in that, okay? That big thing over there, okay, and I'm going to start running it. This big thing over here, this nucleus, carries DNA. So when they say they've got DNA on this body, if you watch any forensic shows or anything, and they say, we're going to pick up your DNA, that's where they're going to get it. They are going to get it inside there. And if you have a good look, can you see these little squiggles over? Oh, I must use a different color, otherwise you're never going to see it. Can you see over here, you've got this X-type structure. There it is. Can you see I colored it in? Okay, and there's more. There's one over there. There's one over there. Can you see it? Those there are your chromosomes. And your chromosomes is what carries the DNA. How cool is that? That is what your parents gave you. That is the most important thing that your parents gave you, was the chromosomes. And the chromosomes is what makes you who you are. How cool is that? Okay, so let's have a look. What is the function of the nucleus? The function of the nucleus is the control center of the cell. It controls the processes of the cell with cell division. Okay, I don't know if I got right there. Cell division. No, come down. Okay, cell division. Well, I'm going to go back there. Sorry. Let's come all the way down. Cell division. Okay, and let's see if I can get this page to go a little bit lower for us today. Oh, you can come over there. Come on. Oh, there we go. See, a little bit of luck, we can get things right. Okay, and back to the pen. That's where we were. Okay, cell division, and it's responsible for hereditary characteristics. Remember, we spoke about hereditary ages ago. But what is cell division? I mean, to me, that's dividing cells. Okay, division, I mean, you know your maths, dividing, all of that. Dividing means making two, or dividing into two parts, okay? Half type of thing, okay? Well, let's have a look at this. This controls cell division. And remember, cell division is very important because it's there to make you grow. It makes one cell become two, and then the two grow up, and then those two go cell division and become four. Makes you get bigger. So when you were this big, now you're like this big, like me, and it's cool, right? That's what this nucleus does. Very important. Okay, next one we're going to have a look at. Ooh, what is this? Oh, no. This is, I have no idea what this is. Do you know what this is? Okay. This here is found in both animals and plants. And of course you knew, because like I know, okay, you went and looked at the heading. Okay, never a good thing. Always figure out first what you see before you look at a heading. Okay? I know you looked at the heading, especially you guys in the back. I saw it, right? Now, if I have a look at this specific thing, I'm going to go in pink. This is cool. Okay? We all know that an animal cell has got this round thing, and that is the cell membrane. Now, if I went and I cut this piece out here, and I went and made it huge, big, this is what I see. There is the block. Okay? Now, it's quite cool. If you have a good look at it, I don't know if I must use black, but I'm going to use black. All these things in here are very important. Okay? I'm going to start off with something very, very simple. Okay? It's something that I don't think you have to know in detail, but watch this carefully. I know that every time I listen to people, they say, oh, my cholesterol is high. And yes, some of them are, I get it. But understand that cholesterol is also good for you. You can't have too low cholesterol because then things aren't going to work. And have a look. There are these white structures inside the membrane of the cell, which are called cholesterol. And there they are. Look at that. Okay, your cholesterol. So little white things. And they have to be there. Okay? It stops the cell from breaking. And I don't want to put you into too much detail, but it stops the cell from breaking. Okay? Now remember, I went and told you about when we got to hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Can you remember? Okay? Now, this is what I was talking about. Remember, you get those two little things. And if I had to draw them, they look circle over there, 2 lines, 2 lines. Okay? Now, that is your membrane. Okay? Those are your phospholipid membranes. Okay? And that's your biphospholipids. Lipids is fat, and phospho is the phospho group in science. Okay? Now, what they do is they bi, which means there's 2, one on the bottom, one on the top. Okay? So that is, normally, that's where you get your hydrophilic and hydrophobic. You get your hydrophobic heads and your hydrophilic tails. Okay? That's how it works. Now, these blue things here are proteins. And you know when we talk about diffusion and osmosis, right? Now, this is where it takes place. Okay? They normally go through these parts here if they need energy, which means it's protein that help it. Okay? And that is your membranes. And there you go. You get your glycoproteins, right? Your carbohydrate chains, which are still on your proteins. Okay? And you can see it's a protein on the protein itself. That is a lovely picture. Okay? And what is the point of the membrane? Let's take it down. Okay? It controls movement of substances in and out of the cell, also plays a role in cell protection. Now, think about that carefully. What is the thing I told you? See how the cell comes in here? All the liquid's going to come through here, little passage. Okay? It tells them. And remember, it was selectively permeable. It selects or semi-permeable, selects what it wants in there or not. If it doesn't want it in there, the security guards are like, no, you ain't going in anywhere. But if it allows you, it says, please, come in, come and join me. Okay? So it selects what it wants to come in or not. Okay? And then have a look. It is also help with protection if it surrounds the cell. Whatever's on the inside is protected. Okay? It's nice and easy. It's a simple thing to have a look at. Okay? The next one that we're going to have a look at, come on, you know what this is. I'm not going to go too far. Have a good look at this. I'm going to count to 10, and you're going to tell me what's the function of this thing. Are you ready? Let's go. Good. I know that you guys came to the conclusion, I'm going through all the different colors, you've come to the conclusion that the mitochondria, it just looks like I'm taking the same colors all the time, the mitochondria is this thing here, okay? To me, it looks like a little sausage, okay? It's the way I remember it, it's just the way it works, right? You need to know, I promise you do, you need to know how to label this thing. Okay, and let's have a look at it. You get the matrix, which is inside, okay? Can you see these yellow lines over here that do these funny crosses in and out? Can you see them? Okay, those things there are called your cristae. Okay, very important. It's the second membrane, the inner membrane, and then you get the outer membrane. Let's see, where's the outer? You get the inner membrane, which is your cristae, and then, well, that's the inner space between the two membranes, and you get the outer membrane, which is this red section here. Okay, in other words, if they say to you, name a organelle with 2 membranes, okay, that goes through cellular respiration, you will say the mitochondria. Why? It has 2 membranes, the outer and the inner. And the main function of this, and look here, it says site of synthesis particles. In other words, it happens inside the little dots over there. Okay, what is the main function of this? Main function is the most important thing. Okay, without this, you wouldn't be able to get up in the morning. Okay, let's have a look at it. It provides energy a cell needs to move. Okay, to divide, to produce products, anything. Okay, it's main thing. If I have a look at it, the only way that I always, well, I can't say the only way, but the way that I always explain this is the powerhouse of the cell. It gives you the power, okay? And there it is, the power center of the cell. It's the powerhouse of the cell. It gives you energy. The more of those you have, the more you can do. So in other words, I wouldn't find that inside my hair cells, but I will find that inside my muscle cells because I need a lot of energy. Right, that's cool. Now, another one. This is the be all and end all. Guys, you know what? Your mitochondria gives you energy. I get it. We need them. But this thing that is on the screen at the moment, this baby, and have a good look at the screen, right? Now, this guy here is the be all and end all of life. That's in my opinion. Okay? Now, the reason why I say that is because without this guy, you will never be able to survive. This is your chloroplast. And the chloroplast is what goes through a process called, oh, I'm not going to give it away. This guy, okay, he's got special things, okay? They're called thylakoids. Now, the thylakoid, okay, is these little parts over here. And you need to understand that these are in 3D, okay? These little thylakoids, there they are. This is where this main process takes place. I'm not going to tell you what the process is. I think you must guess, okay? And a bunch of these guys together, okay, here it is, a bunch of them together are called your Gr10, okay? And Gr10 are made up of thylakoids. There they are, okay? Also, here's another one. It also has a double membrane, the outer and the inner membrane, very important membranes. And if you have a look at it, have a good look at this. Because people don't ever see this. You see that picture over there, okay? Can you see these little dark lines over there? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, okay? All the little dark lines, and then they joined. I want you to picture this as dark lines. So in other words, if I had to draw this flat, it looks like this, okay? And simple, easy, and then people do this all the time, and then they come across over there, and they do that. And you get your thylakoids. Can you see how similar this one and this one look? Okay, look at the similarities, because most of the time they don't give it to you like this. They're going to give it to you like this. Okay, make sure that you know the difference. Okay, and what is the purpose of this structure? Come on, it's the site of photosynthesis, guys. You must understand that photosynthesis is the be-all and end-all, right? If plants didn't do photosynthesis, if we get rid of plants, we are all tickets. We will never get any food, right? Because if plants die, then the animals die, then we can't eat, and we all die, right? Very important. This is the be-all and end-all of life. Okay, now, the next slide I want to show you, this is a slide that they always ask. Have a good look at that. Okay, now if you have a look, I'm going to change. No, I don't want to put black again. I want to go to gray. The features, this is something that they ask you to do normally. Okay, they say, please compare the difference between an animal and a plant cell, or tabulate. Guys, that's a big word. Tabulate, it's an important word. Tabulate the difference between the plant and the animal cell. Okay, now here they haven't done the difference between plant and animal cells. What they've done is they've said the difference between them. So not the difference between them, but the difference in each specific organelle. So if I have a look at it, the feature is the cell wall. Okay, what is the difference between the plant and animal cell? Then the chloroplast, then the carbohydrate storage, vacuole, and the shape of it. Okay, so it's given what it wants, and then you need to tell me what's it like in the plant or the animal cell. So let's have a look at it. Cell wall. Come on, you know, I know, and every single person that does life science should know, we'll be talking about grade 10 to 12, should know that an animal cell does not have a does not have a cell membrane. So let's have not present, as the cell only has plasma membrane. Okay, remember your plant cell, has a nice plasma membrane, and it's got a cell wall. What are the cell walls made up of? Cellulose. Okay, don't forget it. It's made up of cellulose. Okay, next one, chloroplast. Is it present in the plant cell? No. Maybe Hulk. Maybe Hulk. No, I'm joking. There is no animal that can photosynthesize. So in other words, they won't have chloroplast. They will not have it because they cannot go through photosynthesis. So not present, and I'm going to cross it again, not present in the animal cell. But if we have a look in the plant cell, do all plant cells have it? Come on, think about it, think about it, think about it. Do all plant cells have it? I mean, I've been telling you that plant cells have chloroplast. Do all plant cells have it? No, they don't. Think about it, okay? What is the function of chloroplast? To go through photosynthesis. What do we need for photosynthesis? Sunlight. Would you find them in the ground by the roots? No. Okay, it's not going to happen. Where would you find chloroplast? The green parts of the plant. If the plant or the stem is not green, does it have chloroplasts? No. Come, guys. You must remember that everything that we teach you is one thing. Fact is one thing. You need to understand it and put into everyday play. That's the most important thing. Okay? So, plant cells have chloroplasts, not all plant cells. Right. Next one. Oxygen and storage. Okay? It's got glycogen. Glycogen is very important. We store glycogen. Plants store starch. Okay? Vacuole. If you have a look at it, your plant cell has a big vacuole, huge vacuole, because it helps with pressure. Your animal only has a vacuole, but a very small one. It doesn't have at times, but it has now and then. Right. And then you get your shape. Your plant shape is a rigid shape. Remember I said cell wall, which means it's like a brick. Okay? And then your plant cell doesn't have one. It can move. It's irregular in shape. Right. Hope you remember all these concepts. These concepts are very important. Okay, now I can see that you guys are starting to droop, okay, because I'm thinking concepts. You must know how to use them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a break, and then we're going to come back to some questions. So, see you in a couple of minutes. That is better. Look how you're looking. So much better. You see what a break does, hey? Don't forget, you've got to have breaks when you're studying. Otherwise, nothing's going to go in, right? You need those breaks. Now, let's have a look. The last thing we left off was concepts between an animal and a plant cell, okay? Now we're going to go through the difficult parts. Come on, let's have a look at this. What do you see? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Yeah, I think 1 minute, and I'm not going to label it. I want you to see if you can see the difference in what we have there. Okay, and ready, steady, go. Okay, now, if I have a look at it, sometimes, even though I'm not going to ask the question, you know, even without me asking the question, I want you to get used to looking at things immediately. A, of course, is your cell wall. B, you see it's big. It's one of the biggest things in the cell. And that will be your vacuole. Okay, so that's your vacuole. C, have a look. There it is. What do you think that is? It's another big organelles. It is your nucleus. And then D, have a look. Can you see the little black stripes there? See the little black stripes? And they join to the next black stripes. Come on. What is it? The most important thing? The chloroplast. See, it's not that difficult. You need to be able to see what you see over here. You need to understand it and see it. Okay, what I've got, a couple of questions for you, because I know that everything that we talk about, you need to understand and put into play. okay? And I've given you these beautiful pictures, right, of a complete cell. Now I'm giving ones that you can see under a microscope, and you know different microscopes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of questions, and yeah, they are just two, and let's have a look. These are the questions, and you are going to answer them. What type of microscope was used to obtain this picture? Now understand, you know of one, okay, and I know of two. You actually know of two. I need you to know which one is which. Think about it carefully. Okay, the next question, provide 3 visible reasons why this is a plant cell. You need to mention names of the parts as well as the letter. Okay, now when you read it, that is important. If you do not give me the letter, I'm not going to be able to do this with you. Okay, you have exactly, let's see, 30 seconds. 30 seconds is the best. You ready? And go. You will notice that I gave you a minute. I just thought, you know what? Sometimes I need you to think so you can tell me exactly. And you aren't used to seeing these type of things. So I gave you a minute. Okay, so let's have a look at it. Okay, the first one. First one. What type of microscope is this from? Now, this is an important one. Okay, because a lot of you have never seen one. And I'll explain to you now why. Okay, this is a transmission electron microscope. Microscope. Now, you know of the light microscope. Now, the light microscope, if you have a look at it, if I had to give a quick drawing, it would look something, and my drawings are terrible at the moment. Okay, it's got a stage. There it is. Okay, and then it's got its plate that it stands in, and then it's got its light source. Okay, and you will look through this part here. Okay, now that is your light microscope because it uses a source called light that you plug in. This is an electron microscope. This one sees images, okay, that it can see a cell. Okay, and the closest cell that I can get to, if I had to look at a plant cell, is something that looks like, it can show me the cell wall that looks like this, okay, of an onion cell, for instance, but that's about it. Okay, it can't show me too much. This one, okay, it shows me the chloroplast. That means it must be very, very small. Okay, it must be able to see very, very small things. Okay, so instead of using light, you use your electrons, and this microscope is huge. Okay, it's a big microscope. It's the TEM. There it is. Okay, it's a transmission electron microscope. Don't forget it. They can trick you with it. With a normal light microscope, you cannot see the organelles. Okay, don't forget it. Next one we have was name 3 things that tell you that this is a plant cell. Now, let's go up. You had a good look at it. Now, if I have a quick look at it, I can see a couple of things. Okay, if I have a look at it, remember I circled it, it's your chloroplasts. Okay, it was this big thing over here. Okay, there it is, don't forget it. And then we've got another one that runs across here. Can you remember those? Okay, so let's have a look what they are. They're nice and simple ones, this. Okay, there they are. It is the cell wall, which is the structure around here. You have got your chloroplasts, which remember is this green piece over here. Okay, and then of course you've got your vacuole, which is this big thing over here. Just for the record, guys, you must understand that a vacuole has got liquid inside it, and it helps push the cell out. That cell has got to have pressure on the inside, okay? Because if it doesn't, and there's no more water in the vacuole, the vacuole will collapse and pull the membrane away from this cell wall, and then the cell breaks, and then it dies. Okay, so that vacuole is very, very important in a plant cell. Okay, so hopefully you guys got this, because I knew you can. I know you can. So you putting this effort in is very, very good. Now, I've got a couple more. Don't think you got off lightly. I don't think that you need to get off lightly. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, same picture, exactly the same picture. Okay, and here we go. Name three substances that are three substances that are part of label that part A consists of. Part A. Name, sorry, not three substances. Name a substance. I've lost it today. Can't read. Okay. Name a substance that number A is made up of. Think about it carefully. I mentioned it earlier. Very important. Next one. Calculate the actual size. I'll explain it in a few minutes. The actual size of the cell using a scale line. There's a scale line. Okay, and they've given you, I took this, and remember when you measure, you always measure the biggest distance. So from there, I'll almost try to show you with my fingers, not going to help. From there, all the way to there, to the longest part of the cell. You need to show me the longest part. Okay, so they've given you the longest part of the cell, and the widest diameter through the cell is 112 millimeters. Okay, and then it says the scale line. So if I put my ruler on this line, this black line from there to there, and I measure that in millimeters, I got 21 millimeters. Okay, so those are the two questions. I'm going to give you about, let's see, yeah, I'd say 2 minutes because of the calculations. Okay, think about it carefully. Show me all working out, especially in this question. Look, it's for 3 marks. Okay, important. Make sure you show me the working out. Are you ready? Go. Yes. Now, understand this. One thing you must remember that people always forget, okay? This is life science. It's a science. And you do use a calculator in science, okay? Don't forget it. So make sure you take your calculators in with you. Okay, so let's have a look at it. First one, name the substance that is part of or makes up part A. Part A is over there, so let's have a look at it. You cannot forget it. Remember, I said it carefully and easy for you guys to remember. It is your cellulose. There it is, cellulose. Very, very, very important. Okay, remember, that's the cell wall gives the plant structure. Okay, now let's have a look at this. What the scale line, let me just tell you exactly what it is. What this scale line over here represents, it says that the length of this is 5 micrometers. Okay, it's 5 micrometers. And for every one of this, if I measured this and I put it from there, let's say it's there to there, and then I put another one, and then I put another one, and then I put another one. How many of those is this? Okay, so let's say it's 5. That means it's 5 times 5 micrometers. But let me show you the real way of working it out. What you need to do, okay, is you measured it. We measured it from there to there. We got the longest length, okay. Then we measured that from there to there, and we found out how long that was. And the calculation is, let's move it a little bit down. There we go. It is the length, there it is, the length of the cell. Remember, the length of the cell was 112 millimeters. Okay, the length of the cell times the given length of scale line. Remember, is this the given length of the scale line? Think about it. It's not. Okay, the given length of the scale line is there. Given length of the scale line is 5 micrometers. Okay, so that's the given length. So it's the length of the scale of the cell times the length of the scale line divided by how much that scale line you measured on your ruler. Okay, so let's have a look at it. And everything was given to you. Okay, you've got 112 millimeters times 5 micrometers over 21 millimeters. Okay, you need to convert that. So each one of these two, you need to times by 1,000 to get it to micrometers. So it's 0.12 times 5 micrometers divided by 0.021 millimeters, and you get to 26.7 micrometers. Now understand, that means that this cell in real life that you're looking at is that size. That cell in real life is 26.7 micrometers. Right, how cool is that? Now, I want you to have a good day. Hopefully you got this right, and you will never forget it. Good luck, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Cheers.